Hey y'all, I'm Kevin, and this is Ask Pawpaw. Ever hit a wall in a build and thought it might stop everything? That's where we were last week. Our original foundation plan failed in a big way, but we found a fix that's cheaper, easier, and still keeps us on track for our $20,000 budget. Today, I'll show you how we did it and exactly what we've spent so far. If you're new here, we're building a tiny home for my daughter and grandson completely from scratch, one paycheck at a time. No loans, no mortgage, just slow, steady progress that you can actually afford. But before we talk numbers, let me show you why we had to change our foundation plan in the first place. When we first started this build, the plan was simple. We were going to direct bury 6x6 posts right in the ground. It's a method I've used before and it's affordable, and on paper it seemed like the fastest way to get our foundation in. There's fewer materials, less fuss, and in my head, we'd be ready for beams in no time. Well, that's what I thought, until we actually tried to dig. The morning I started, the weather was perfect. I had the auger ready, I had my lines marked, and I figured I'd knock out all the holes in just a few hours. But the very first hole told me I was in for a fight. The auger bit down maybe a couple of inches and just bounced. It felt like I was trying to drill through a driveway. That's when I realized we're sitting on compacted chert here. If you've never dealt with it before, chert, think of it as like nature's concrete. It's a mix of rock and clay that's been pressed together. You don't really dig through it, you chip at it, and even then it laughs at you. I was out there sweating, leaning my full weight on that auger and making almost no progress. At some point, my brother-in-law Chris pulled up. He must have seen me struggling from the road and decided to try to lend me a hand before I had a heart attack. Now, Chris is no stranger to hard work. He grabbed that auger like he was ready to teach it a lesson. But even with the two of us giving it everything we had, we were barely making headway. No progress at all. We'd grind down a few more inches, hit another solid patch, and the auger would just bounce around again. After the second attempt at digging another hole, we were both looking at each other like, hey, this just is not going to happen. I was tired, Chris was tired, and the auger, well, it was probably tired too. That's when I called it. I said, there's no way we were going to dig enough holes like this without either breaking equipment or breaking ourselves. I sat there for a bit thinking about the next step, and what popped into my head was actually something I wish I'd have done years ago, back when we built our shed home. On that build, I had concrete block piers sitting directly on the ground, and I always thought later, man, I should have poured small concrete pads under each one for more stability. That would have given a solid base, and it would have spread out the weight better, and it would help with leveling, over time. So that's exactly what I decided to do with my daughter and grandson's tiny home. I'm going to use 2x2 concrete pads with blocks stacked on top, capped off with more blocks and a moisture barrier under the beams. It's a method we can tackle one pad at a time as the money allows. There'd be no rush, no debt, and no more fighting with the chert. And speaking of working, let me take you out to the build site so you can see what we've got so far. It's not been exactly easy building this a little bit at a time and as we go and trying to figure it out as we go. I'm not a experienced construction guy. I mean, I've built a few things, but never anything like this, a whole house by myself, even though it is a tiny house. So it's been interesting. I'm learning lessons as I go, and I'm having to pivot as I go. So you guys stick with me, and I'm going to show you what I've cooked up next. This right here is pad number 1, poured at what I believe is the highest point on the whole site. A couple of days later, pad number 2 went in, and now we're starting to see the footprint of the house really begin to take shape. Every pad we pour is like putting another piece of the puzzle in place. Here's the process we've been using. It's simple, but it works. Step 1, dig just enough to place the 2x2 form. We're not going crazy here, just clearing out any high spots so the form sits flat. Step 2, rough level. I use a basic level at this stage just to make sure the pad isn't wildly off before we pour. We'll fine tune everything later when we set the beams. Step 3, mix and pour concrete. I've been using bag mix, about 6 80-pound bags per pad, and mixing it in my drum mixer. If you got help, one person can mix while the other keeps pouring. so you don't get cold joints. Step 4, let it cure. I like to give it at least 24 to 48 hours before I put any blocks on top or pull off the forms. Step 5 is stack the blocks. 2 8x16 blocks side by side, then 2 4x16 cap blocks, and we're ready for beams once everything's in place. Now here's where the laser level comes in. Leveling across the site is the trickiest part, especially if you're building on uneven ground. Like this is not too bad, but sometimes it's very uneven. Let's say I'm pouring the next pad over there. Before I commit to that pour, I'll set up the laser level at a central spot like it is right here on this freshly poured pad, and then I'll get my reference height by tuning in my receiver to my pad here till I get that tone. Now I know that that height is level with the top of this pad. Then I can walk over to the new form and I can check it before I commit to pouring it. If it's reading low, I know I need to add a little bit under the form and get it. If it's high, I can shave it off a little bit until we're dead on. That way every pad ends up with the exact same height. So when we drop our beams in, everything's going to line up perfectly. And of course, every pad costs money. Concrete blocks, forms, it all adds up. So let's head inside and update the budget to see where we stand after these first few pours. And by the way, if you're interested in getting your own self-leveling laser level, I'll put a link down in the description, and this seems to be a good one. It's very popular. All right, time to talk numbers. This is our running budget sheet, and I've linked a free copy down in the description so you can follow along or make your own for your own build. The thing I like about keeping it in Google Sheets is it's always up to date, and I can pull it up on my phone, my laptop, or really anywhere. Plus, it forces me to face the numbers because, trust me, if you're not tracking, you're spending more than you think. Okay, let's look at our tiny home budget tracker here, and let's enter what we picked up this morning. It's August 9th. I'll put my date in. First item on my list is 2 by 12 by 10 pressure treated lumber. That was for my foundation, and the price on those were $14.64 each. I bought 2 of those. Let's see what else we got. Next, got an 80-pound bag of Quickcrete. That's also for the foundation. And those are running $6.22 each. And we've got 20 of those. And lastly, we have the wheelbarrow we bought. That was a Jackson 6 cubic foot. Oh, I better add wheelbarrow so I remember what it was. And I'm going to start a new category called tools for that. And that was $74.50. One of those. Then I always like to add my tacks, and we'll just call this for foundation. All the I should put category as tax, but and for my taxes I spent $22.25. All right, so that brings our grand running total up to $1,949.88 out of our $20,000 budget. Means we have a remaining budget of $18,050.12. Now here's one thing that can sneak up on you: tools. The auger, the laser level, even little things like extra gloves or a new wheelbarrow, they all add up. Tools are investments, but they still come out of your build budget. I mean, unless you plan for them separately somehow. So here's where we are right now. This is how much we've spent to date, and we want to stay under our $20,000 goal. And remember that $20,000 isn't just the foundation, it's everything: framing, roofing, siding, electrical, plumbing, interior finish. Here's a little tip: if you're doing this yourself, add a notes column, and I'll jot down the date or where I bought the materials, or even the weather that day if it matters. Sometimes a link to the thing I'm buying. Later on, you'll be glad you have that record, especially if you need to go back and match materials or figure out how long a certain step took you. Looking ahead, the next big expenses are going to be the rest of those pads. then the beams, and then we'll start framing the floor system. That's when the numbers will jump. So keeping this foundation phase lean is really important for the overall budget. And the reason I'm showing you all this is simple. Building this way is slower, but it's debt-free. Every dollar we spend here is already paid for, and that changes everything. This build has been slower than we hoped, but here's the thing. It's paid for, no debt, and every single pad that we pour is going to get us closer to setting beams and framing this home. If you've ever been in the middle of a project and felt like you're crawling instead of running, you know how discouraging it can be. You look at the calendar, you look at the money in your pocket, and you think, are we ever going to get there? That's where we are. We could have gone into debt, bought all the materials at once, and maybe been dried in by now. Put it all on a credit card. But we'd also be starting with loan payments, credit card payments every single month. Instead, we're building paycheck by paycheck. It's not flashy, it's not instant, but when we're done, it's ours, free and clear. If you're building with limited income, like so many of us are, here's my encouragement. One step at a time still gets you to the finish line. Don't let anyone make you feel like it has to be done in 60 days to count as a real build. Drop me a comment. What's your foundation plan? Would you try pads like I'm doing? And if you're already building, let me know how you're tackling your budget. Your ideas might help someone else out here who's watching, maybe even help me. Next up, I'll be pouring the rest of these pads and showing exactly how we're leveling them across the site. That's when things start to get real, because once those beams go down, now we're officially framing a home. If you want to follow along paycheck by paycheck, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. You can catch up on the build with episode 3, I'll link to it here, and where we tackled the chert and got the site prepped. Or you can start from the beginning with the full Paycheck build playlist, and I'll leave that here too. And don't forget, we're going live on most Saturdays with build sessions. They're live build sessions, whether we're pouring more pads or just hanging out for Q&A sessions. I'd love to see you there. Bring your questions, bring your coffee, and we'll spend some time together on the porch.